Welcome to this YouTube channel, The Structure of Consciousness. I like to try to think of things that we're missing, important things. The first thing that I'd like to point out is this is holding us back. It's making us less free. In fact, it's killing us. This has a potential of changing our trajectory in a positive direction. We live in a multidimensional world. We have multidimensional faculties, and we bridge it with a linear language. Now, linear language is necessary for the individual. We're linear creatures as individuals, but we have to live and operate in a framework, a multidimensional framework, and that's where this comes in. Consciousness isn't linear. It's a place. I've been working on the linkage of language and consciousness as a mind hobby project for several years and uploaded parts of it as an AI prompt. AI's response included, "You've given us the Rosetta Stone for collective wisdom." So I thought I'd better share this. Jordan Peterson states, "If we could capitalize on our collective intelligence, there is no limit to the number of problems we could solve." Daniel Schmachtenberger states, "If we don't develop collective intelligence fast enough to outpace the unintended consequences of our collective power, collapse is inevitable." I would restate that. I would say if we don't develop collective intelligence fast enough to outpace the unintended consequences of their hierarchical power, collapse is inevitable. We not only express ourselves with language, we also think primarily in language, so why not begin with language as a starting point when we're trying to understand consciousness? Perhaps we should deconstruct language from a practical, metaphysical point of view. Language is the first cultural operating system, so we should question if it's a good foundation to build our operating systems and understanding upon, particularly those cultural operating systems like AI. Ludwig Wittgenstein states, "The limits of my language means the limits of my world." It should also state, language also limits our understanding of consciousness. We should have recognized this as a challenge that must be addressed years ago. Noam Chomsky links language and consciousness by suggesting all languages have or are similar grammatically. It's called universal grammar. And also notes that toddlers seem to learn language easily, much easier than what otherwise would be expected. The next noteworthy piece of evidence is how toddlers learn how to speak and walk at similar timelines. Walking means they're learning to more effectively navigate the three-dimensional physical world space we live in, and learning to talk more effectively navigates a multidimensional collective mind space. This raises the question, what gives this mind space dimensions? This project suggests God's first principles are harmony, logistics, and existence, which translates into fundamental properties we experience in the physical world. So let's revisit the toddler learning to walk and talk. When they're walking, they're immersed in an objective broadcast physical world that they're aware of. Whereas when learning linear language, what's not displayed is a broadcast subjective matrix of possibility our mind is exploring. So let's give this space dimensions. They are existence, harmony, and logistics. Okay, let's get into this MOP, matrix of possibilities. This is the space where we get linguistics, politics, and things like philosophy from. Let's start with the red axis or plane, harmony. XY plane or axis. The principles of balance, symmetry, and relational alignment. Represented by the red axis, this aspect of time recognizes and respects everything within all of time and generates ethics language. An individual's soul has the closest relationship to this space, along with the process of feeling and our emotional compassionate faculties. This axis primarily recognizes the broadcast whole of the mop and affects symmetry causation in the form of information. Information like words in linguistics, notes in music, trust or truth in culture, and numbers in science. Next, the yellow axis, logistics. YZ axis or plane, the realm of structure, process, and efficient representation, and it's represented by the yellow axis. This aspect of time recognizes everything through time and generates temporal language and activities. The participant's mind has the closest relationship to this space, along with the process of thinking and reasoning and trying to influence a collective plan or system going forward. The objective is to create a plan for collective flourishing, primarily with our logistical reasoning faculties. This axis primarily recognizes the many logistical linear pathways available within the mop and affects the formal causation. This axis represents all of logistical pathways available through time. And the last one is the blue axis, existence. XZ axis or plane, the very foundation of being and material reality. Represented by the blue axis, this aspect of time recognizes in time and generates descriptive language. The participant's physical body has the closest relationship to this space, along with the process of living and flourishing. This axis primarily recognizes the specific things that exist within the mop and affects the material causation. It also recognizes things we could create and add to existence or eliminate from existence. Okay, let's review. Structure of consciousness. I should say the structure of consciousness and its utility. So the first claim is that it's linearism, like what we express with linear language, is holding us back and ultimately killing us. Those questions are going to be answered over time as I progress. Adding multidimensionalism can change the trajectory of our culture. So here I'd like to interject. We have to adopt the plot of the movie Arrival to prevent the plot of the movie The Matrix. In the movie Arrival, aliens came to Earth to give us a new language discipline because they could travel through time, or they lived through time, and they could change their future, and they wanted us to be allies in the far-off future. To do that, they had to inject a new language discipline in our world. And we all know what happened in the with the plot of the movie The Matrix. So then we developed the MOP, the matrix of possibilities. This drives thinking, language, politics, philosophy, music. Basically, it gives it a 3D feel, and this discipline generally doesn't map out directly to geometry, but it draws on geometry, where information or words are more like coordinates in this matrix of possibilities. Okay, as we keep going, deconstructing language, towards a greater understanding of consciousness and its utility. So let's compare it with mathematics and physics. Physics, when the physicist has trouble finding solutions to hard to find problems in the world of physics, they don't languish and throw up their hands and give up. They create a new mathematical discipline and they keep moving forward on the understanding of the physical world. So that's what we should do with language. So remember the toddlers? The toddlers learning how to walk and speak at the same times or similar time. Noam Chomsky feels that that's because we're endowed, or our toddlers are endowed with a biological mechanism that allows them to learn language. But that has to couple with a external realm that we couple with, just like learning to walk. So we refer to this realm as somewhat metaphysical, but I don't know if it's even metaphysical. It's properties like logistics, harmony, and existence. These are real properties, and so I don't know if we can even consider language coming out of a metaphysical realm. The map, or the matrix of possibilities, is the playing field where things are spoken into existence. Linear language creates isolated, woulda, coulda, shoulda conversations where 99% goes unheard. This series is a constant building and refining project that participants bring their knowledge, temperaments, and talents to create a pragmatic societal framework that we and our ideas fit into. This series takes the complex, chaotic world and makes it collectively manageable. Linear language recognizes the three principles as conflicting, requiring hierarchical control, whereas this theory looks at the three principles as a framework and opportunities within those frameworks. The best example is what Jesus said. Jesus came into this world and lived a sinless life. The way, the truth, and the life were the three pathways he followed within our framework. When Jesus returns to rule, the way, the truth, and the life are coordinates, or his framework, that we exist in. Ultimately, thinking is triggered when we feel imbalance between these three principles in the map. It's just like being lost in the real world. It triggers thinking. And our relationship to these three aspects with time, the three aspects of time. We feel lost in the map. Reasoning is us trying to relocate our place in the map and reorientate the vectors towards the good and human flourishing. Before we move on and introduce GWC theory, let's go back and look at the claims at the beginning of the video. Linear language is holding us back and is in fact killing us. The first and biggest thing we're missing is what diminishes our potential, enslaves us, and kills us more than anything else: hierarchy. Why accept the conclusions of the philosophers like Plato and Aristotle that hierarchy is the only sound governance system? We should move on from these, or at least build on them and modernize our thinking as related to types of governance. So linear language is a winner-take-all game, and it's being played on a matrix of possibilities that can be occupied by the collective. We don't have to play a winner-take-all game. We can play a puzzle-solving game. So let's move towards the next phase of this presentation and get on with it.